Oh snap, Nikki! I caught extremism by changing the definition of what it is it working. This should be fantastic.
It looks like the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd
They
Austin,
gone
is
done it now,
continuing the
boss.
battle against extremism, as we've noted that that's been kicked off since the beginning of this year. Now, ever since January on the 6th, saying that as weird as possible so YouTube doesn't pick this up and try and shut the video down to eternity. Like this video if you like news like this and you believe in alternative media and reporting and things like that. But there have been 6 service members that are in the military that were kicked out based on extremist activity. Now, if you don't remember, back earlier this year, it was mandated by the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, that military were required to do a stand down on extremism, talking about all of the instances that you could see in regards to that.
Let me see your administrative policy based on the law and why you complain a bitch and do the government thing about what is working.
The social culture of what's going on in America right now. Now that that's gone on, we're seeing slowly over time people being
not working.
Footage, etc. One was the 04.
Things that
now
don't
we're
do this
at
for
a sergeant that was in the reserves that was a
if you walk in town looking
and he
like
goes by the name
Hitler,
Timothy
it
Hale
will create a problem. If you were not
now,
ready for this problem, even Knievel, the trebuchet will sling your ass across there just the same, but you will splat.
A bunch of other people were involved in this, and they're even looking at doing more research.
Off the Randa.
It's interesting because what we're seeing is a true legal battle go down, as it looks like there's not much grounds as officiality, and looking at ways that these service members can be prosecuted. And that starts with first the definition
if you have a board
of
factory, why would you make it a metal cup factory? We could put treads on Ted's line, but we're not going to. It would be a whole thing. It would be a pain in the ass. It would be
the membership
really
was not
wet
banned.
and muddy.
The new definition is expected to more specifically identify extremist behaviors outside of a group setting, as several recent examples of extremist service members have been unaffiliated with an organization. And it goes on to say that they have set up a process, interdepartmental process, to continue to work on this, Kirby said. And one of the things that they already said they were going to try to do was another study on extremism, so the work continues. To give some background story on this sergeant that we're talking about, obviously you see the photo, you're going to see the stash, you're going to see the hair, right? But there were also other comments that he made. It looks like there were people that outed him, saying that he was talking about being there that day, saying he was going to get rid of evidence and things like that.
At any rate, what is working? Not just the regular standard model in the mill. That is what this is. This is a mill. There's a product to it. When you got that coiled loaded up spring from Park G over here doing, it will tag you. It'll be loaded up a bunch of people. Well, I wasn't. Zombie apocalypse just broke out. Well, that's nature bomb being in your house alone in Alaska, comparatively to Times Square, New Year's Eve, the day Umbrella decides to drop the T-virus.
Present on the scene depicted evidence of violations of local and federal law, including scores of individuals inside of the building without authority to be there. It specifically mentions Timothy Lewis Hale,
you glow like a bunny. You know, like how rattlesnake could look at just a nice 1 pound, 2 pound baby bunny. Just you would be perfect.
That will not be picked up by YouTube. Hale Cusinelli is enlisted in the United States Army Reserve and also works as a contractor at a naval weapons station, Earl, where he maintains a secret security clearance and has access to a variety of munitions. A little heads up or disclaimer: he no longer is working there because of this. And then it says, on January 12th, 2021, I received information from an individual who has been enrolled as a confidential human source with NCIS, which is Navy Criminal Investigative Services. And says the CHS reported that Hale had told CHS that Hale was present at the United States Capitol building, and as part of the R word, he entered the building itself. Hale then showed CHS videos on his cell phone, which depicted Hale making statements towards police officers, etc., outside the building, and then during their meeting on the 12th that they had recorded.
What do you think about that fucking armada that is out there? That is
avowed person
Starship
of these groups who
Troopers,
post video opinion
fucking
on YouTube,
bugs in the Hello World droid program.
And viewpoints under the title
Honestly, simulator.
Show.
Are you a simulator? I'm not sure that you're not a simulator. I can't disprove it. And on our own rules, we apply simulations as a simulator.
Trust the Planet, major announcements soon. Now, if you go over to that YouTube channel, we don't see any of the videos here, but there is a
They're
photo of
sitting there
him
playing with my
making
cat,
some
grabbed a
comments
hold
to
of me,
himself in the
snatched me
mirror,
up
but
on
it
my
looks like
finger. I'm
that's
like,
been
ow,
taken
that
down.
wasn't very
But
nice.
you can see up here it says Base Hermes and the Jersey Revolution with what looks like to be a caduce from a medical position, which I find kind of interesting because he's not medical at all, but just some context for you guys. So it does look like some of the training might have worked as people are picking up on some of this stuff and people are being educated. Army Times has also covered this and said that they're looking at the projection forward of the military and how they're going to be able to use this new definition to kind of like understand and put a clear guidance for service members out there.
They lie.
It says recommendations from the RAND report include exploring existing
It will
anti-extremism
look like
education from groups
Gap.
like Life After
Doesn't
Hate
look like
and
Mass
Beyond
Gap. They
Barriers,
haven't
both
taught
created
you
by
how to make
former
a 90-day
extremists. Further down the road,
ledger.
RAND's
Does a
Monday report suggests
right
that
now.
there will
I
be
have a couple of
there will
months
need to be clear
left at the
framework
back
for
end of
dealing
a
with
month.
groups who
Or
are
the
found
new
to fall
year.
under the
If
new
I stay,
definition
if you do
of
stay, you
extremism.
don't stay.
Ultimately,
Stuff
DoD will need
happens.
to craft
Fancy
policies
magic.
that
Be
govern
ready
the
for all
consequences
of
for
it.
service
Any of
members
it at any
who are
point in
shown to
time.
have
You can
joined
get
an
in
extremist
dog training
organization, which
next.
could include discharge.
Be
The report
ready.
continues, but could also involve interventions designed to help individuals walk away from
You have
extremism.
field theory.
So it sounds like we may not be cutting the
electricity.
ties off
You
entirely. There
have
may be people that are in a gray area that they're
chromodynamics,
looking
quantum
to deal with.
dynamics.
That would be
Which
a
are kind
very
of the same
interesting
thing.
thing to think
Nuclear
about, because we do have
chromodynamics is it's like
substance abuse
this is a
people that are
robot.
there to
Everything
get
we
people out
do,
of,
programs,
danger zones, stress
engineer,
areas,
kind of
things
get
like
the
that. So I
fluid
do
out,
find
Pied
this
Piper, a
interesting
bunch
how
of
that would be
fucking
like a
assholes
conversion
and
therapy or
lab
something to say that these guys are no longer going to be a issue or a national security threat of some kind. Now, with anything on my videos, I like to cover both sides, and the comments over on Facebook about this really do share the sentiments of both sides and the perspective lens that they have. Joseph Vespi says, in my 16 years active duty, I have not met or known a single quotations extremist. This project was a huge waste of tax dollars for an insignificant amount of extremists who in all actuality are probably making dumb jokes in poor taste, who have had no hate for their brothers and sisters in arms. In a highly upvoted comment responding to him by Don Bowman says, maybe because our views don't sound extreme to you. Kevin Presser writes, so reading between the lines, this is what I'm understanding. We couldn't find anyone fitting the definitions of extremism in current
honestly,
use.
whatever
Therefore,
the
we've had to
problem
take
is,
more time to determine a new
Stanford
definition
level,
and actually identify some service members who fit the new criteria, otherwise known as moving the goalpost.
That's a big
Changes
problem.
that always works.
Vacuum
Fits
decay
right in with the
collapsing our
administration's
whole
new mantra
entire
to
industry
quotations
of
lower the
bullshit.
expectations. And jokingly, John Vince writes, I mean the mustache isn't extending beyond the corners of his mouth. So these are some of the things that are coming out in the news as we've seen this just kind of unfold over the past year.
Is a password,
and
so
it
you
does
can get
bring
past
the
the
same debate up. I do understand the both sides of sentiment here, but I also have to say, like, as much as he could say this is moving the goalposts, I can also say, like, trying to adapt to culture and things that are changing is something laws naturally happen as well. So I'm like, we can't say laws just stay the exact same state no matter what. But you could defend either side on this. I can definitely see, as you can see in his comments. But I'd like to know, what do you guys think down in the comments below, because I think that's where this discussion gets started, and we can kind of move the bar forward in regards to understanding where we're at and kind of progressing to the next phase of understanding what's going on. But as always, if you guys do support over here, you can support over at patreon.com for special perks and benefits. On top of that, you can also support at the YouTube join button below this video for special perks and benefits down here on YouTube.
Lied.
But as
there
always,
would
if you guys have
be
questions about this or anything
an
else,
AR670-1 brief about grooming policies on PAW 600 for it, so it's bullshit. Congressional law. The guillotine law. Fuck, man. Physics, Hangman. Hangman physics, that's what it is.